Good morning. Today is the 13th of November, and I want to talk a little bit about my first New York City Marathon. Starting from the beginning, my first 10K was in 2015, and between that time and now, I had run about 12 half marathons. I started training in June. I used the ASICS app, and that was great because what it does is it titrates in longer runs and faster paces. Helps you avoid injury that way. So it's pretty smart and it's a great tool. So I started training. Really important was that I did weight training in between my runs. So if you're planning to train for this, definitely work in some high intensity interval training in order to get your heart working at its best, and also tons of lower body work like weights, squats, using bands around your knees and doing that exercise, where you open your legs and close them. I would do mine across the gym floor and back. So I trained well. I felt like I trained well up until the point where it was showtime. The two biggest things for me were the timing that I arrived and the number of bathroom breaks I took. Those things affected my time. I was targeting like a 4.10 and I ended up doing a 4.59. So in retrospect, I should have gotten to the start line 2 hours early. I came off of the ferry, and without expecting it, we had about an hour and a half delay. So that put me behind in my corral. My corral had long gone, and I was running, instead of a 9.1 group, I was running with like a 10.7, and appropriately so, they were running at their pace. But the hard part was I couldn't get past that group, and it took me up until about mile 8 for things to open up for me to have an opportunity to try to get faster and catch up. But at that point, I felt like it would have been a pretty bad strategy to try to start bolting, miles. I would have probably lost my pace at some point and maybe not even finished. So at mile 8 or 9, I just decided, well, I'm already here. Let's just keep the pace steady. And I kept it steady across up until the finish. I had a strong finish. I never had to walk, run, walk. I never stopped to stretch. I just kept running. I came into the race sick. I had been on antibiotics for 2 days. I had a bout of bronchitis. I was using, inhalers and all that. And I was hydrating a lot because I didn't want to have any additional problems because I was sick. So that cost me, I think, 3 bathroom trips for a total of about 20 minutes. So I'm thinking that for the next one, I will hydrate differently so that I can maybe just go to the bathroom once. And I'll also get there about 2 hours early and just wait. Other than that, it was a wonderful race. I mean, the crowds were amazing. There are some hills, but if you train at a gym, you can just throw your treadmill up to like 15 and do some sprints, and you'll be well trained for that environment. In Brooklyn, it was a little crazy. Some of the crowds actually went into the race, so you couldn't run past them. Sometimes we were in 2 lanes, literally, because the crowds were on top of us. So if they could hold those crowds back a little bit, that would be great because it would allow us to open up and run faster. Let's talk a little bit about nutrition. I found that I needed calories, not just Gatorade and not just goo. So I ended up pureeing brown rice and bananas and putting them in small Ziplocs so that I can just kind of break it off and drink, eat it, whatever, and then just toss it. I made 3 of those, and I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So that wasn't just my personal need to have calories in lieu of just continuously adding electrolytes. I think that made a big difference for me. So next year, those things will be important for me, and I hope that helps you. For your first marathon, sneakers are a huge part of it. I was always a flat shoe person. I loved running in flat sneakers. They have this Adidas Zero sneaker that is totally flat, and it worked really well for me until I started doing long runs of like 13, 15, 18 miles. Then I was getting the beginning of plantar fasciitis, so I went back to Roadrunner Sports in Paramus, New Jersey, and I was fitted for a pretty big stability sneaker that almost looked like a Hoka One, but it was a Brooks high stability sneaker, and that reversed my heel pain and my plantar fasciitis completely. And from then on, I had no other issues with that. I did start to have some knee discomfort below the kneecap, which in doing some research, it turned out that I just needed to get a patella support strap. I put 2 of those on race day and also for my long training run, and it helped tremendously. So good luck. I hope you can get in. If you get in, enjoy it. It's really, really an awesome experience.